Hi there, and welcome back to another video. My name is Monica of Millie and Monica over on Poshmark, where I am a full-time seller, and today I have another What Sold Quickly video for you. So these are items that sold quickly between January 1st and January 15th, and for me, an item that sells quickly is an item that sells in 2 weeks or less. So if you're interested in selling clothing online and making money online, please consider subscribing to this channel if you haven't already, and of course, please give this video a thumbs up. That really helps me out here on YouTube. So I know you want to know what has been selling quickly, so I'm going to dive right in. But these first few sales were items that sold quickly from my ThredUp shoe boxes. So if you haven't seen any of those ThredUp rescue box videos, go back and watch those at some point. So I do have a couple pairs of shoes that sold for my first ThredUp box in my last What Sold Quickly video. So these first 4 pairs of shoes came from my first ThredUp box, if that makes sense. And so we'll dive in. So this first pair was the Iron Fist Skin Crawler flats. They were kind of like a punk zombie style flat, and they were size European 39, and they sold for $18 via customer offer. This next pair they were called Fioni. They were a black faux patent leather stiletto heel. They sold for $10 via customer offer, and they were a size 10.5. The next pair was this pair of Old Navy. They were very like classic style, ankle booty, pointed toe, faux leather, size 8, and they sold for $16 via offer to Liker. And the last pair from that first box that sold quickly was this pair of Just Fab. They were the Zuri style, and they were wide calf burgundy style tall riding boot, and they sold for $19. So those 4 pairs of shoes from that ThredUp box were not like high dollar sales, obviously, but they were quick sales, which is nice because it helped me recoup my money back from those boxes quickly. And then I have several pairs of shoes that I feel from that box that will bring in definitely more profit. This next pair of shoes was from my second ThredUp shoe unboxing, which was a fantastic box. This first pair of shoes that sold quickly was listed less than an hour, and they were the Doc Martens 1460 8-eye Beck's buckle boots. And I was so excited when I unboxed them, and I listed them very quickly, and they sold within that hour for $90. It was via customer offer. So that was a really exciting sale. Next we're moving into items that were outside of those ThredUp boxes. So this next little bundle was 2 pairs of vintage belts, and they were kind of the floral embossed design, and together the bundle sold for $28. The first belt in the bundle was the belt that sold quickly. The other one I'd had listed for a while. Next we have this vintage geometric color block dolman sleeve sweater. It was absolutely gorgeous, and it was a size medium and sold for $35 via customer offer. Next we have this pair of high-rise vintage distressed jeans. I pick up the style often. These were not a well-known brand. I normally am looking for like Levi's or Lee. This was just a random brand that I had found, but the style was on point, and they sold for $20 via offer to Liker. Next, we have this pair of Harley Davidson black leather chaps. This was a pair of chaps that my mom had picked up for me and had sourced for me, and then I picked up during the holidays, and they were size large and sold for $62 via customer offer. So I do like Harley items. Sometimes they can be hit or miss though. I find that some of the more basic styles don't sell as well, but chaps are definitely something that people are looking for. They're quite expensive, and I felt like they resold very well for me, so I'll be definitely looking out for those again in the future if I can get them for a good deal. Next is this bundle that had a vintage gold button cardigan. It was absolutely stunning, in my opinion. It's size extra large, and it sold with this blouse that was absolutely one of my favorite blouses that I picked up. It was silk, and it had a really unique floral lace design with kind of this geometric almost honeycomb design to it. And so together the bundle sold for $48. The next couple items were items that were relisted and then sold quickly. So this first jacket was a really exciting find. I've had it for quite a while. It was a men's vintage military jacket. And the first time I had listed this and gone over it, I had actually missed the inside label. The label was in a pocket, on an inside pocket. There was a label in there and I'd missed it. And someone had asked me if there was a label in the pocket, a customer had, and so I had found it, and that's how I actually ended up finding more information about this. That customer never ended up purchasing it, so I did go ahead and relist it, and then it sold really quickly. But it was from 1944, and it had some military patches on it. It was just a really, really great jacket. It was a size men's 40, and it sold for $65 full price after I'd relisted it. And this next pair of boots that was relisted and then sold quickly was a pair of Johnston and Murphy brown kind of mid-calf riding boot. And they sold for $35. It were a size 7.5. Or I'm sorry, they sold for $30. They were a size 7.5. And then we have this pair of vintage Lee high-rise pleated trouser jeans. They were size 18 and they sold quickly for $35. And this next sweatshirt I want to talk a little bit about because I did make a mistake with this and I do feel bad, but I want to talk about this mistake that I made because I do make this mistake once in a while, and usually buyers notice before they purchase, or I notice and it gets fixed. But this was a homage. It said salty across the front of it. It was new with tags and it was a size small. However, I had listed it as a size medium. I don't know, I must have wrote it down wrong in my notes, or I wasn't paying it close enough to my photos, because I did have a photo of the tag saying that it was a size small. Regardless of what had happened, I mistagged it. It was purchased quickly for $18. When I was going back through some of my love notes, I realized that there was a 4-star review on it, and I thought that was odd. So I clicked back on that review, and she said that it was tagged, or the listing was marked as a size medium, but it was actually a size small, and she couldn't return it because she'd already taken the tags off because it was new with tags. So I did reach out to her in the comments and leave her a little message saying that I was sorry for that mistake, and just apologized. So hopefully that is not a mistake that I continue to make, because sometimes I do that where I mistag an item. And usually someone who's shopping will notice that the picture doesn't match the description, and they'll ask me and we'll go from there and I'll fix it. But in this case, I didn't realize it, and I do make those mistakes. So next we have this pair of vintage Rockies high-rise bareback Western style jeans. They were a great like indigo color, and they sold quickly for $30 via offer to Liker. This next bundle was a really fun bundle, and all of the items actually were quick sales. So this first sweater was an intro. Medium large was the tag size because it was a poncho style sweater and had like a nice cowl neck to it and kind of a plaid mustard coloring to it. And anyway, it sold with this BCBG Max Azria long plaid blanket cardigan and this oversized green turtleneck sweater. So all three sweaters sold together for $70, and I was really excited to put together that bundle and send it off. This next pair of boots was Summit by White Mountain, and they were a metallic leather, a slip-on, pull-on, Chelsea style moto booty, and they sold really quickly for $40 via offer to Liker, and they were a size 11. I actually really like picking up size 10 to like 11 size shoes. I feel like they normally sell for me pretty quickly, and I think it's probably because there's not a whole lot of those being like circulated on Poshmark maybe, but I don't know what the reasoning is, but I usually do well with that size. Next is another bundle, and this bundle, the first item was the item that sold quickly, and it was this suede black fringe kind of like Western moto style biker jacket, and so it did have a little bit of wear on that, which was disclosed. and it was a size medium. It sold quickly with this pair of calico, I think they were vintage style loafers. They were croc embossed in this lighter kind of ivory cream color. The bundle sold for $50. Next is this vintage purple floral rose cotton sweater. It's really gorgeous colors moving into the spring season, and that sweater sold for $25 via customer offer. Next was this Calvin Klein Performance pullover cowl neck kind of color block sweater, and it was around a size medium large. The tags were missing, so I provided measurements, and it sold for $20 via offer, or $20 via offer to liker. This next pair of shoes is a pair of men's shoes. They were the Eco men's. They were a brown leather sneaker, kind of more of like a casual dress sneaker. And they were size European 44 and sold for $35 via customer offer. Next is another bundle. So this was a fun bundle, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a couple of the pieces in there. So the first piece was this Title IX quarter zip popover sweatshirt, a great base layer piece. And it's sold with this Tahari Citron New Tags green dress. It's kind of a she style dress. Now I want to talk a little bit about this dress because if you've been watching my videos for a while, like a while back, you probably saw that this dress sold on eBay. That's because it did. But it sold on eBay when I was first starting to sell on eBay, and at that time I was offering returns on items. If the customer wanted to return it, they could return it for any reason. And this was one of those items, actually the only item that I've had returned so far on eBay. Well, once I got the return request and stuff for this dress, I immediately stopped offering returns on eBay because this dress sold so early on in my eBay selling experience that I was like, oh gosh, like if I've already had a return after only selling a few items, if I continue to offer returns, I felt like everyone was going to want to return something that just didn't fit them. So I stopped offering returns after that dress came back to me. So that came back to me quite a while ago. I relisted on eBay, but I never got around to relisting it on Poshmark. So when I finally did, it ended up selling that same night within a few minutes of relisting it. And it sold in this bundle with the Title IX sweater. And it also sold with this item, this sweater that had been listed for quite a while. It was this Nine West cheetah fur cardigan. This had been listed for almost a year or more. So I was happy to see it being bundled with these couple of other items, and together the bundle sold for $74, which I feel was a really great deal for this customer, but I really was happy to kind of move a few of those items, especially that since that dress had already came back to me, I was happy to see it go, and that older sweater. So those are my Poshmark sales, but as I alluded to, I am selling on eBay, so I'm going to talk about my eBay sales as well, and that's coming up next. But I just want to say, I was going to say this in the beginning, and I somehow forgot to talk about it. So far, January has been a slow month. And for me, I think there's a combination of things. Honestly, December wasn't my best listing month. I didn't list as much as I should have due to just traveling for the holidays and just a lot of holiday stuff going on. I felt very behind in December for my actual listing goal numbers, and I feel like that really has set me back for January. And then this past week, I have been not feeling so great, and which makes it hard to really keep up my pace of what I normally would do. The beauty of this job is that you don't have to call in sick, you don't have to worry about sick days, but the flip side of it is you don't get paid time off. So I definitely see my lack of listing in December plus a week of not feeling so great in January affecting my overall month as a whole. I'm really hoping to snap out of it and get to listing and get everything back to kind of its normal routine and schedule and all of that here in the next month. I'm gonna be really pushing hard. But if you're wondering, just is it always having awesome sales? I had a lot of quick sales, but I'm not moving as much older inventory as normal, so it's not been my best couple of weeks, if that makes sense. But now moving into eBay sales, I am sharing everything that is sold on eBay in the past 2 weeks. So 1st through the 15th, I'm sharing everything that's sold on eBay. I felt like I was on a pretty good route, a pretty good like sales flow on eBay for a while, and then the past few days definitely came to a halt. And again, that's just due to me not feeling so well. But I'm coming out of it. Next week will be great. I know it. So first thing that sold quickly, or one of the things that sold quickly, I guess, is this Banana Republic mohair turtleneck sweater. I actually really wanted to keep this for myself, but I just honestly wasn't going to wear it. So it was a size medium and it sold quickly for $28. This was a offer from the buyer. I did accept it, and all my eBay sales, buyer pays shipping. So that's how that works out. Next was this New York and Company Nua Tags Paisley kimono style dress, and it was an extra small. It sold for $20. Then we had this CJ Banks jean open front. It was kind of like a blazer, kind of like a coat, and it was a size 2X and sold for $15. Next then was this Revolve romper. It was a yellow kind of off the shoulder ruffled romper. It came in one of my B&G trading Revolve boxes. So if you watch that video, that's where this piece came from. And it sold for $40. Next we have this men's Harley Davidson a small nylon jacket. It was like a bomber style jacket. This piece is actually, I took with me from my parents' house. It was my brother's, and I sold it on kind of like consignment for my mom. So I do owe her a percent of this sale. So it did sell for $64 really, really quickly. So I was really excited with that sale, and it was accepted, positive feedback. So I was waiting for that to make sure that the sale is complete. So that went well. So Harley stuff, like I said, I like selling Harley stuff, but some of it can be hit or miss. I find like the women's like tank tops or stuff like that don't do as well, but some of the more unique pieces do. Next, we have this Calvin Klein Nua Tags black floral embroidered dress, size 18. It was absolutely gorgeous and sold for $40. And then we have this vintage button-up sheer blouse, also a size 18, some red trim on it and some pleating, and that sold for $15. This next piece was one of my favorites. I had found several Anthro pieces a while back at the bins, some really great pieces, and this was one of them. So this was the Anthropologie Sleeping on Snow. It was a long blanket duster style cardigan with the Fair Isle stripes to it, and it sold for $45. Then we have this plaid blanket scarf, just a really basic but almost staple piece, and it sold for $10. This next pair of trousers was an interesting, like I just wanted to try it out, but they were this Mistress Rocks. There was a couple of really good comps on Poshmark, but I just wasn't sure if these would do quite as well. They did have a little bit of like discoloration at the hem, which I did stay and treat and try to take out, but it was still there. So they were the Mistress Rocks orange trousers. They did have like a chevron side stripe to them, and they sold for $20, which was okay for what I paid for them. I was happy with that return. Then next was this really exciting sale, because I've had this dress now for quite a while, and I knew that it probably wouldn't be a quick sale because it was a very unique dress, but it was this Tadashi crushed velvet navy blue dress, maxi style like evening gown, and it had this like ruffle. It wasn't really ruffle. It was like almost feathered off the shoulder design. Anyway, it sold for $70. I was hoping for a little bit more, but honestly, it's been sitting for several months now and been relisted. I was very happy to see it go off to a new home yet this winter, and so that was a fun sale. Next was this vintage one-piece snowsuit. This snowsuit I've actually had since last winter as well. It's been relisted a few times. It's very happy to see it go. I've sold some other snowsuits. I think the thing with this snowsuit is that it wasn't like really bold or unique, really. It was just navy. I've had better luck with like really bold, like 80s striking snowsuits. And so this one, I probably wouldn't pick up this style again. I would more so look for the bolder colors. But anyway, this one sold for $40. And then we have this vintage floral knit puff sleeve sweater, and it had these like crocheted flower detail to it. It was really unique and peachy pink color, perfect for spring, and it's sold for $30. Then we have another Harley Davidson piece. This was another piece my mom had picked up for me, and it was a Harley Davidson moto scarf, and it just had the Harley like logo on it, and it sold for $11 really quickly within listing that item. And then lastly for eBay, we have another men's item, and this was a Burton snowboarding full zip up sweatshirt, and it sold for $22. So I hope you enjoyed seeing and hearing about what sold quickly for me in the past couple weeks on both Poshmark and eBay. And as always, I will see you next time.